Bonsoir, mon cher. C'est jeudi à soir. It's Thirsty Thursday. I don't know if that is like the way that you would say that in French, but it's like a literal translation. Parler en français un peu and poorly. But I love it. I really love it. I have French DNA. I'm like French, Syrian Jew, Scots-Irish with some Austrian. And then my dad's genetic test results showed that we were related to Marie Antoinette, which I don't know how true these things are, but it feels right to me. But we also, it said that we were related to President Zachary Taylor and President Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson's definitely one of the top worst. But Zachary Taylor, he was sort of neutral. He was anti-slavery at the time. He was very early president. So that's good. But he wasn't very effective because he died of some kind of stomach upset in his first year of office. So he did not really leave a huge mark. But presidential royal stock really got me far, didn't it? What's up, y'all? I have actually pretty funny news. Like, the plot develops. So yesterday's video, okay, I'm still hoarse. I'm like, my voice is cracking. Everything is shattering. So yesterday's video promised sort of like this like ticking like countdown to a surprise. And as fate would have it, on the day of our romance reading, I went out into the forest. I had a book of poetry that I had bought recently by Megan Watterson. She wrote Mary Magdalene Revealed. I did a book review on Mary Magdalene Revealed. There's a video about it if you're curious, but Megan Watterson is like an expert on the Gospel of Mary and Divine Feminine, and I think she's actually a pastor of a church who is sort of like Mary Magdalene devotees, where they the core principles of the church are the study of like mystic Christianity through the hermeneutic lens of like the teachings of Christ to Mary Magdalene. Is what I gather. I may be not exactly right about that, but it seems like that's what she is. So anyway, I had this book of her poetry that had come in, and I wanted to like go out and have a fall-y day and like be out in like nature in the fall and read this book. And I thought that's going to be like the perfect vibe. Well, I can't read it out in my yard where I had planned on reading it because of Metro Water is like dealing with the sewage pipes. And so every day it's been just smelling of shit. But they came by the house and let us know that would be over soon. So thank God. Just in time for the open window season to be over. So I've got like wafting sewage fumes over here right now, which is like mood killer. Okay, so I took my book into one of my forest strolls, and I'm on my journey, and I'm wearing like my little like boho dress that I was wearing yesterday with my top hat here, and I am like walking all whimsically, and I keep passing dudes because you know my luck with like forest guys, and they're all just like so taken away by like, I don't know, I guess just like my whimsicalness and just in my setting or whatever. And then I'm kind of like distracted, and I look up, and there's like this dude sitting in the path reading a book, and I'm like, this is not the same forest dude as I met on Yom Kippur, is it? I get closer, and it is exactly cute forest guy from Yom Kippur. I'm like, what are the odds? And he's literally out there doing like the same thing I am. He's not reading Megan Watterson's book. I can't remember what it's called. Something about the Sutras of Joy, I think. But he was out there reading a book about like by Carl Jung, or like it was either about Jungian. I can't remember if it was by Jung or like about Jung. But either way, I'm like, okay, pretty close vibe there. If you don't, I'm like, this is crazy. So it was just really funny, and it really. I'm not even gonna say the card that I just. which is really funny. It took me by surprise, and so surprised that I was just like already like, I don't know, I'm out of body kind of in the woods. Even though I go out there to get grounded, I'm just still like, I'm like channeling more than ever out there. So we like have an exchange and we talk for a minute, but I was just like, just feeling so ungrounded and out of body. And I just kept thinking like, there's more, like just keep going, like make this brief. So, but I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep going because I've got to read, and I'm going to read this book, but, you know, I was like, I feel like we should, like, be in touch or whatever. So, phone numbers. So we'll see how it goes. This is a stranger. I don't know anything about him. Been wrong before. But this is really cute and fun. Very fun. Okay, let's see what the cards have in store for us this week. Ooh, I'm feeling lucky. I wonder if you guys are. Oh, okay, Pisces was also, like, Jupiter moved into Pisces today, I think. So that is also, like, giving us potential for, like, expanded emotional depths and, like, the veil being thin and, like, deep philosophical thinking. Heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Okay, that kind of like checks out because like Jupiter in Pisces, Mars is in Gemini. It's about to go retrograde. Like the whole like Venus Cassini, the Scorpio new moon, solar eclipse, like, you know, we're rounding things out and starting new cycles. And so whether it be setting that boundary or, you know, getting that closure or finishing old chapters or just like maybe writing in your journal and just saying goodbye to the huge old cycle and the context around maybe some of the relationships and things you had within that cycle, and just opening yourself up to what's coming and this new cycle that's ahead of us. And maybe going forward, you're honest and you speak from the heart, and you know, you're honest about like how you feel and things. And I mean, that's not to say that you can't, you have to like put it all out on the table, but you don't have to be like evasive or fake or like try to be something that you're not. Like this time around, you know, as you're moving forward in this big sequel to your life, you want to have more affinity with your higher self, right? And so it's all about being super authentic, and having that life that you feel like is super authentic to you requires that you be super authentic to create the authenticity. So heart-to-heart conversations. Eek. Honestly discuss your feelings. Scary. Okay, what else? What else do we need to know? I always like am worried that like, what if my voice never comes back? But then I'm like, well, I don't know, at least I kind of like crack myself up. Let go of control issues. Ooh, surrender and stay surrendered. And so then when you feel like you've surrendered, surrender some more. The scariest thing to do is surrender control, and surrender in general. But it's also the best thing that you can do is to give up your false sense of control. Like we have control. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. Yeah, I mean, if you are in whatever situation you find yourself in right now, I would say be open to it, be present for it. Vulnerability in wise doses is called for. And don't try to push or make it happen too hard. You know, let it unfold naturally, with ease. In fact, assume that if you like take your hands off the reins a little bit and you're not neurotic about anything at all, that the universe can do its work and the energy will be really relaxed and the harmony can flow through the situation with ease. But I would say, yeah, take take your hands off the wheel. Stop trying to like micromanage the universe. Don't try to force or control. Just see what happens, right? You know, the universal like energy rounding out the year, especially during eclipse season, which is over the next couple of weeks, it was really encouraging us in this direction anyway, to just coast the rest of the year. I mean, not coast, like still show up the way you've been showing up, but like you don't have to push any agendas forward. You don't have to try really hard to make it happen. You've already been doing that part and setting yourself up, and now it's about like the Rube Goldberg machine. I think I'm saying that right. It's like now it's time, you've set yourself up with this like situation, right? And now it's time to drop the ball and watch as it follows its path and just have fun letting things play out in a really fun way. But letting the universe sort of like steer and guide this like transitional moment for us will be, I think, even more magical and fun, because we're in this like really interesting space right now, this threshold between the ending of that big season of our lives and the beginning of another. And so we're kind of in this like dark and in this like divine fog, and we're being meant to walk through uncertainty right now and sort of let that universal magic, let spirit guide us, and follow like kind of the divine hunches and trust the timing, but not force your will, not force your ego, not force your agenda, not force your timetable. Just relax. Relax, Mavis. All right. So our next card that was in my lap here was Release Your Ex. Let go from the people let go of the people from the past that aren't serving you. You know, we've been talking recently about just like, what are we ready to leave on the cutting room floor for our big sequel. And I've just been feeling like the past couple of weeks have been like, you know, when like the new season of your show's coming out and they're like starting to show teasers, like it's been feeling that like that, hasn't it? And so the first episode of the season, I feel like it's sort of like either about to premiere, and we've been getting kind of like little hints and tastes of what's in store. So now is a good time to really think about like who you are as a character in your upcoming season of the show of your life. You know, okay, we're picking up where we've left off. Are we like skipping ahead a little bit? The character's got a new love interest maybe on the way. Are we done with the old? Like, I'll get out the old, right? That's all. Like the Scorpio season and the solar eclipse are really asking us to let go of all the old things that haven't worked. And your ex didn't work. Get rid of it. Get rid of them. New things ahead. New exciting things on the horizon. Okay, so I'm just like reading the pile that was all stuck together in my lap, and religious factors are playing a part in your love life right now. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. So it may be that you are finding someone who actually has similar beliefs as you, or you're getting more clear on like what you would like your partner to like have in common with you and what you don't mind if there's not in common, kind of thing. But it could be that like for some people, they're very rigid about having someone with the same beliefs as them, and some people aren't. Some people are just like live and let live. Like you can believe what you want to believe, and I believe in what I want to believe, and maybe even they find that interesting about each other. But I mean, you could be, you know, in a situation with someone who is like, no, this is very important to me and we don't match because of this, or maybe, ooh, this is a great match because of this. Also, I will say that I think one thing that we're getting past is we're transcending the shadow of the religious dogma around relationships that we were given growing up. And we are figuring out that we can redefine what we want as adults, and it doesn't have to mirror what the religion that our parents gave us and the context of marriage within that. Like we can have like our own like house and home and our own version of what is, you know, utopia to us, and it doesn't have to match what we grew up as. And it certainly does not have to reflect those relationship dynamics, but we do have to examine the ones that we were presented growing up so that we are not playing our relationships out on autopilot based on our default settings that were programmed into us, into our subconscious, okay? And then engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So I like to, you don't have to take this as a literal engagement, but it could be that you are becoming more engaged with activities within your love life, and that you're going to be seeing a lot more action. Or there's exciting developments in the mix or close by. And it's definitely felt like something has been circling the runway for a minute. So I'd say have fun, take your hands off the wheel, let the universe sort of like sprinkle you with the magic of how it's all going to unfold, and just be confident that things are working out and healing is occurring. And we've had so many like things happen recently astrologically that have been like very significant and huge, that are really supporting like positive, good times to come, healing within relationships, and like real evolution there, and a possibility to have like deeper and more fulfilling relationships and more authentic ones. And so, I mean, can you imagine what it might be like to actually have two people who are functional and in a relationship together, who are both are supportive? Like, it's so funny. I was talking with some women recently about how, like, what it's like to be the person that runs the boyfriend school. And what that is to be the girl who does all the hard elbow grease work to teach them like relationship skills. And then you like right after you and then break up, they like go off to like get a really serious relationship and sometimes get married right after that. I was like, I'm done holding the boyfriend school. I'm finding someone who's already like into that kind of thing this time. So that might be also like figure out like what you really want like seriously this time, like, and don't tolerate these fools that just don't know how to engage within a relationship. No more of that. All right, Yins, I am going to enjoy a ritual bath. I still have some mulled wine left over from last night, and I started watching Dahmer. Oh my God, I love Evan Peters. He's a cutie. I'm not usually like a big blonde dude fan, but he sneaks in because he's kind of macabre. I like him and stuff. But yeah, so far that show is really good. But I think I didn't quite catch it for sure, but I thought I saw Ryan Murphy's name attached to the credits. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. I like pretty much everything that Ryan Murphy does. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I might watch Dahmer. I might watch something that is witchy and seasonal. I might watch The Witches of Eastwick. I'm not sure. Might watch some kind of Halloween goodie, some kind of classic, instead of Dahmer. And then I still have like quite a bit of mushrooms, my homegrown shiitakes and top sirloin left over from last night. So I think I'm going to revisit that. Ooh, put a baked potato in the oven. It'll be done when I'm done with my bath. All right, y'all. Ciao, bellas.